Hello, grade 5 6s. Welcome back to our next Scratch lesson in digital technology. We are going to be continuing off the things we learned how to do in last lesson. So if you haven't done our last lesson on Scratch, where you made the cat that could go up, down, and left and right across the X and Y axis, then please make sure you do that one first. This one won't make sense if you haven't done last digital technology lesson. Okay? Now remember, if at any point you get stuck, I will be online later today so that you can jump on and get some help if you need it. But to get started, we are going to be logging back into Scratch and loading up our program from last week and working from there. So yeah, for some reason my computer's in my yacht today. I don't know why, but anyways, we'll switch over and get started. Let's have a look. Now, the best way to get back to Scratch, boys and girls, is just go to Google and search up Scratch. Here we go. And this one here, scratch.mit.edu, is the one we need. And that'll take you back to your Scratch page. Now you will probably already be logged in. If you're not, please just make sure that you log back into the same account from last week so that you can continue working. Now we're going to continue working on our project that we did last week. If for some reason you don't have it anymore, you'll just need to redo part of it, but most of you will still have it. Now I'm going to go to My Stuff to open up the one I have from last week. And the one I did, well, actually, this one here was the one I did last week. So I'm just going to see inside that. And I've got an apple in here. I'll delete this apple. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Okay, so this is our one from last week. Now, last week we had it so that a cat could move up and down and left and right. Okay, now my cat does these little walking motions because I've got the next costume built into each of the commands. But in general, you just need it so your sprite, it may not be a cat for you, just can go up and down and left and right. Okay, we also had a press spacebar to meow. I've gotten rid of that one now. We're going to do something different instead. Okay. Once you've got a sprite that goes up, down, left, and right, we're actually going to turn this into a little bit of a game. We're going to make it so there's something else on the screen that's going to try and bump into your sprite. Okay? And I'm going to make mine an apple. So what I'll do is I've got sprite 1 here, the cat, but I'm going to add a new one in. I'm going to press this choose a sprite, and I'm going to pick the apple. Okay. Now, this apple here is going to be floating around and is going to like bonk into the cat. So to make this happen, we're going to add in some instructions for the apple. So we'll start off with our event when flag is clicked. Okay. And then we're going to tell it to move. Okay. We're going to tell it to glide for 1 second to a random position, which means it's just going to randomly go somewhere. Okay? If you want it to go slower, you can make that 2 seconds. All right, let me press the start, the flag now, and you'll see for 2 seconds it will slowly go somewhere just randomly. Let's try. Yeah, cool. So it just randomly went there. And then it stopped. And that's cool, but I want it to not stop. I want it to keep on doing that so that we have to dodge it. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go into control, this orange one here, and we're going to put in a loop. Now a loop will tell the computer to keep doing this over and over and over again. In fact, I want it to keep doing this forever. So I'm going to get this forever tab, and I actually need to put it so this glide for 2 seconds to a random position is inside it. Okay? So now you can see this forever loop, and this one is inside it. So it'll keep doing whatever is inside it forever. Okay. So let me try that. I'm going to press the flag for 2 seconds. All right, so 2 seconds it glided to there, then 2 seconds to here. and then 2 seconds back to there, then 2 seconds to there. Okay, yeah, it's going to keep doing this literally forever until my computer breaks or I tell it to stop. So I see that one was just a slow one. So yeah, I'm going to stop it there. That's fine. All right. No problem. So our little apple here is going to just keep floating around. Now, boys and girls, if you haven't already, this is a good point to pause the video and catch up. Do what I've done here because there's a lot of instructions in this video. And if you, well, if you try and remember them all at the end of the video, there's just going to be too many. So pause it and make sure you've got the up, down, left, right, add in your apple and get it to float around. Okay? And then just keep pausing and playing as we go. All right, so next up, I want to make it so that every time the apple bumps into the cat is going to meow. So I'm going to go back to my sprite 1. Okay. Now, if I've got the flag here again, I'm going to add in an extra one. Let's see. Sensing, here it is. There's one here. It says touching mouse pointer. Okay, I'm actually going to get this one and put it down, but see how this is like a diamond shaped one? I can't join it on. I say I want it to do something when it's touching the apple. See, I can change this down arrow to apple, but I can't join it on. It doesn't join on. Okay, so there's another one that we need here. Okay, and that one is actually in control. See, there's one here that says if, and it's got like this sort of diamond shape, then do that. So I'm going to get this if then instruction, put it underneath the flag. And then it says if, and I can get this touching apple and I can fit it inside there. You see it goes white when I put it around it. I can put it inside there. And see now it says when the flag is clicked, if you're touching the apple, then do this. Okay, and I'm going to get it to add in a sound. I'm going to get it to play the sound meow. Just until it's done. Okay. So, boys and girls, let's have a look at how this will work. So now I'm going to do this, start the program with the green flag. Okay. I've got a bug here. The apple is touching the cat, but it's not playing the meow sound. Okay. That's because I told it to check to see if it was touching the apple and play a meow sound, but then it just stops. It doesn't do anything afterwards. I need it to keep on checking. Keep on checking. How many times? Well, I want it to keep on checking forever. So I need it to be inside a forever loop. So I'm going to get a forever loop here, and I'm going to put it around the whole thing. So you can see the forever stretches around all of this. So do this forever. Check to see if you're touching the apple, and if you are, then meow. And then keep doing it over and over again forever. Let's try now. So, it's not touching me, so I can move around. But if it touches me, oh, it meows. There we go. Ow, it meowed again. Okay, if I run over and touch it again, ow, there we go. So it's meowing every time the cat touches the apple. Now remember, you don't have to choose an apple and a cat. You can change it to something else. Okay. That's working pretty well. Remember, pause the video and do that much. We're going to now add in a little bit extra. This is going to get a little bit more advanced. We're going to add in something called variables. Now, what I want it to do is I want this, I want something to count how many times that the cat and the apple touch each other. Okay? So to do that, we're actually going to need this one here. This orange one at the very bottom is variable. And we're actually going to make a variable. So I'm going to click make a variable. And the variable for this one is we're just going to call it count. Because it's just going to count. Okay? Okay. Now you can see that there is now one called count here, and I can actually tick it and untick it. See, if I tick it, it shows count up here at the top left-hand corner of my my little scene here. And if I untick it, it disappears. All right, and I'm going to want the count. Right now, the count is on 0. I want it so that every time the apple touches me, it'll count how many times it got me. Let's give this a try. So what we'll do is, if you're touching the apple, then play the meow sound, and we want to change the variable count by 1. So it'll change it, it'll add 1 more to it every time we touch it. Now, this variable here, the variables, it's a bit of a funny word, but variables is really just a fancy word for something that changes. In this case, our number, the count, will change. It'll count and keep changing every time it touches. So that's all a variable means. It just means something that changes. So let's give this a try, and let's see if our number, 0, with a count number, changes every time it touches the apple. Let's try. All right. Now, here we go. It's over here. So if it's touching it, ooh, yep, the count is now 1. Oh, count is 2. Oh, 3, 4. Okay, it's definitely working. See, it's counting how many times it get me. And, oh man, it got me twice then. Okay, I don't know why this apple hates my cat, but it just does. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So, boys and girls, this is another very basic program, but there's quite a lot of instructions here. So I'm going to stop the video here, and remember, just copy what I do, but then feel free to change parts of it to make it your own. You don't have to use an apple. You don't have to make it so it floats around like I have. You might make it faster or slower. Now, if you feel up for the challenge, you can even try, instead of counting how many times the apple starts, you could actually try and get it so you start with, say, 5 lives, and every time the apple gets you, it counts down. And then when you get to 0 lives, it stops. It does game over. That'd be a bit of a challenge for those of you who are up for it. But otherwise, today we've learned quite a few new things. We've learned about variables, which are numbers that change. We have done loops. In this case, this loop is going around forever and ever. It's just doing it forever. We've also used an if-then statement, which is if you're touching the apple, then play the meow sound. And we also added in a new sprite, this apple. So boys and girls, quite a few things for you to work on here. Give this a try. Remember, when you're done, label this lesson. In this case for you guys, you can just call it, this is week 5. So just call it week 5 if you like. And then I know this is the work you've done on week 5. That's fine. And then remember to share it. When you press this share button, then I can go on and have a look at it. Okay? Now, that should do the trick. I hope you guys have fun, and feel free to spice it up any way you'd like. Looking forward to talking to you guys again next time, and take care. See you later.